All right, let's get after it. So happy New Year, everyone, officially. So it's been a minute, but I've been working hard getting all this taken care of. But this will pretty much wrap up this job. Got everything built virtually. Now all that's left is for the cold-blooded killers in the shop to just take care of business and build it in real life. So bring it all to reality. So this wraps up. I left the sort of not really simple, but the more straightforward stuff to the end. So even though logistically it's going to be big, we're going to have two big old boxes and we're going to have two smaller boxes, but both of them are going to be very long. So I broke the files up into working on the casino box that I call it. These are the smaller ones. And then I call them the mains boxes, the big main boxes. I'm going to go over those in another video. But for right now, I'm going to concentrate on just the small casino ones. These are going to essentially be the same. So one will let you get your eye in for the other one with just a few details. So like I said, these should be not too difficult for you guys. It's just a matter of making sure we do things in order so that you don't catch yourself out. So for the most part, I'm just gonna be kind of going over what's weird. But otherwise, just things to look for. But otherwise you're making big old boxes, then you're gonna skewer them and that's it. So let's get after it. Let's go over the lay of the land here. So we've got end pieces. So I broke those up into their own file. So essentially you have an end piece here, and then you have sort of the strap piece, sort of the decorative bigger box. So you've got one for the top, and then it just kind of mirrors. So you'll have 4 ends here. And then you'll have your main frame boxes. These are here. And you got 20 of these and 8 of these. Make sure we got enough. That's for both sides. I got all the skins. You got your end skins, you got your decorative box skins, and then the main kind of box there. Got all your jiggies on one page. So you got your ends here, ends, and then your main box jiggies. So these are going to be for connectors. I'll go over that. These are that kind of decorative straps that sort of make it look like it's attached to the boxes each other. But these are also going to be how we snake secondary cable. So we'll go over that. And then for various things is mixed up. So these are going to be for those mounts that I just talked about. And then these are going to be for the main structural mounts. So we'll go over that. And so you can see there's not a lot. It's just there's a lot. But otherwise it should be hopefully straightforward for you guys. So it's kind of broken up into, in order to stabilize the seams properly, I went ahead and broke these up into kind of 2 boxes put together here in the middle, and then another box this way, and then you've got the decorative kind of stacked boxes here. So what you're going to do is go ahead and go ahead and get your long pieces going first. I'm doing the simple rivet method where you're going to rivet it together, and then your jigs here will be what holds it together. So you're going to create one long piece here that's going to take care of the main box, top and bottom, and then you're going to go ahead and put all your braces in. But the middle center ones here, you're going to go ahead and rivet those together. So that way they match up and they're nice and solid. And then once you get that box all ready to go, again, you're not skinning anything, you're not doing like that. You want to make sure that you get these guys in there. Probably, yeah, you're going to do that before you skewer, obviously. So these are going to be your kind of your mounts. So let's go over that. So you're going to have like a top view here. What you see in orange right here is going to be how this thing basically attaches to the 3x2. And that's going to be your main burn area. You're going to burn that really well. And then that's going to poke out the back of the box. And then that's where you're going to also attach your mount plate. Now the mount plate, in order to not just have a single rectangle of aluminum that you can kind of flap and kind of be difficult to get lined up properly, what I'm having this thing do is I'm having it skewer into the box, and you can see where I have a 16th overlay that's going to nestle into a groove right here in the mounting plate that will help you center. So you can see where the groove actually is longer on the bottom. So you're going to slide this piece in and it's going to groove to the top. And then also in the main brace piece here, you're going to have a slot that this little nugget is going to slide into here. So you can see where the green is here. The green, you're going to go ahead and rivet and attach that here. So you're going to go ahead and attach and rivet that to your aluminum quarter piece that sticks out. So you can see where that's going to be your mounting tab top, and this is going to be your mounting tab bottom. And it's going to go ahead and rivet to that. Now you have an in and an out, and this is going to also going to be on the big box, but it just means that this one is on the inside of the center. So from the center over, you've got your in and you've got your out, and then they mirror. This is your out and this is your in on this side. So you can see where this guy here does this, and then this one's here on this side, and then vice versa, where this one goes this way and this one goes this way. So you just want to make sure that you get those, properly mirrored and taken care of there. And then once you slide those bricks, those little plates, they'll slide in. You'll be able to do a nice fillet weld on this side, and then you'll have a fillet weld obviously on this side. And then you'll also be able to reach inside while the faces are off, and you'll be able to burn this tab to this 090 piece. And the top view there. Yeah, so you can burn right here. You can burn on the bottom, get that in there nice. But this will help you get this registered, not only, turning this way, but also up and down, left and right. It'll make sure this is level. So that way when they go to put that up. And then also this gives you a whole nother dimension. So rather than just burning here and burning here, this burns here, but then this turns vertical, and it gives us all kinds of strength right here. And you can burn on the bottom too. So that way it's really tying into this plate. And then obviously when you skewer the 2x3 through, you're going to go ahead and make sure that that gets burnt up really well. I went ahead and clearanced this as well, so you can burn on both sides. So you have plenty of room here to burn. I would make sure that this is rivet only. I wouldn't do lords on this, because obviously you're going to put heat into this, and this plate's going to move around. So I don't think we need any lords. Really, this 090 plate is just kind of to get you to register the 1/4 inch where it's supposed to be. That's really all it's doing, but it's also going to add plenty of strength. So we're good to go there. I think that's good. I think that kind of figures that out. And then the rest of it is just the normal sort of, braces. Now, where we do the faces, and I want to make sure that these faces get on there really well, because we're used to having all of our signs on the ground, and it's basically a sign. When a sign goes up 40, 50, 60 feet in the air, it becomes a weapon. So we don't want anything falling off this thing ever. So I went ahead and made sure we have large face seams for to make sure that things are very stable. So rather than just kind of sticking them on one of these frames, they'll have their own C channels. So that's where you'll see here, you'll have your own C channels on both sides that plug in. And then that way the faces will have a very large area to lords really well. And then I'm also thinking that we'll want to do safety rivets here and there just to make sure. So go ahead and do your countersunk rivets on all the panels just to make sure we also have mechanical as well as chemical, all of that. Take care of it, make sure it's all good. So I think you guys got the idea here. It's just going to be, one big box. But again, just make sure the 1/4 inch pieces go together properly. Hit me up if you have any questions or anything. And then make sure that you have your outside main is going to be ready to mate up to the next parts. So now we have our ends, and then we have our mid. So I'm calling it the mid, but technically it's all the ends here. You can see where it's this little structure here. Now, this brings up the 3x2. Make sure you bring in the 268, or not the 268, but the 24 inch, or the 24 foot, I should say. I went online, I made sure that they have this available. You might have to call, it might have to be get it going now. It might be a lag, but I know everything we bring in is usually 20 foot, but we want to make sure we have the extra length on this, which is the reason why I went with the 2x3. You cannot get 2x4 in this length according to their website, but you can see where we need to make sure that it goes all the way out and extends into these decorative boxes. Now, the problem is these technically are decorative, but the problem is around the shop. I guarantee you this is where they're going to get lift from, And also it'll probably get rested on here. The idea is that, this is where the sign mounts to the actual post. So really this is non-supportive. But ironically, like I say, around transportation, the way we lift these things will actually be the Achilles heel. So these need to be stronger around our shop. So that's why the 2x3, it's important that it skewers all the way. A normal 20 footer is not going to fit. It's going to stop right here. So we need that extra out. So that way it goes all the way out and extends into this box. Then we have the strength. So what you're going to do is just build these guys. They are directional because you can see where, let's go take a look over here. You can see where they're offset and justified forward. So the backside's skinny. So these are asymmetrical. Make sure that, they get assembled properly that way. So when you do the mid, you're just going to create this little box here, right? You have a little jig here, and then you have internal pieces here and here that essentially snug up against the tubing when it comes through. So you'll be able to burn the tubing to these pieces right here. And then you'll also be able to slide this on. And then I have matching Cleco. And if you want to do the, whatever you think will work, but as long as we get some rivets in there or some screws, or I'd like to see lords. I'd like to lords these together and then make sure that it's lords to the end of the box. And like I said, the end of the box has a receiver pattern ready to go for that. So you'll bring that in. That'll be this sort of decorative, I call it the strap. That's kind of what they're calling it. So it's going to look like that this thing is going to take this pipe and it's going to go up into the main box here. So it's going to kind of look like, though, that it's sort of strapped, and it's going to make it look like these bolts are doing something, even though, they're not. So you'll get this box on there, slide that on. Then you're just going to create a little end box. Again, simple. One side kind of goes this way. Just make sure that. But again, I wanted to make sure that when we're lifting, because I know that's what's going to happen, is it's going to be lifted from here, but by somebody just, hey, help me grab this, help me carry this. The idea is that it's going to be lift points inside. You'll be able to choke this bar inside here, and then you'll be able to lift it that way. But until then, we got to make sure this gets nice and, this is nice and strong. So I have this little guy here that's going to take any strain and get it to the end. And then you'll have these two parts here. Again, bring these in. So you'll have the matching receiver pattern on this side. And then this part here will slide on. This side does not have any electrical in it. So there's no drain holes or anything, and there's no way in. So it's fine. There's no need to get in this once it's all patched up. But this one here, you have a little door up top, and that's going to be where the pipe enters the aluminum tube on the little mount here on the strap. That's going to be our secondary pass through, and then that's going to get us to the main boxes, and that's going to get us to our electrical. So that's going to be, you can see where it's recessed there. It's going to be a removable panel for that. So once you get this all done, you get these burnt up nice, you get these all done. Skins are off still. Skins are off on this. Go ahead and tack this to there. Make sure this is all good. Make sure this is all tacked up and this is all one unit. Then you can start to skin. So the internal sort of box just has the three. This is just sort of normal. You lords that all together. Make sure you have your faces proper, because obviously for the channel letters up front, you have your power holes and you have all your mounting holes. But for the backside, left is left, right is right. You'll figure it out. You'll want to make sure that because we're going to be more in a very agricultural area, there's some orchards around and whatnot, you're going to be having bees. So we want to make sure that for the most part, you're going to be sealing it for water. But these are going to be very large openings that allow you to slide this over. Again, I encourage you to test fit this for sure, test fit. But these are going to slide over the welded up brackets. And but then at that point, once everything's done and everything's like nice and sticky, go ahead and silicone or caulk these up really good. But also keep in mind any sort of 1/4-inch hole bees. We don't want them living in there either. Especially once you go up there in your 50-foot lift to do some servicing, and then surprise. Only the bee lady can do that. So we're gonna make sure all this is lordsed up really well. And then these guys here, before you close these up, you can close up the little end. That's fine. You'll see where it's labeled end and it matches all the holes. But these guys here are going to need the 3/4 by 10 aluminum nut. Now you're gonna weld these on, and then this is going to be purely decorative. But you'll see that for convenience, these are going to be the same bolts that we're going to be using on all of the wayfinders for the rest of the property. So 3/4 by 10 is the go-to. So I kept it that way. So it's kind of simple, less inventory. But you will need to tack these on and then close it up. So that way we have blind nuts right here ready to go. Because once this goes on, you can't reach this one. This one, you'll have the ability to reach in and mess with that. But then this is going to be all blocked off. So make sure that, again, you don't want to get ahead of yourself. So, but we're going to bring in plenty of these 3/4 by 10 aluminums. And again, this is the same bolt that we're using for the rest of the project for the decorative bolts. So, okay. So that's pretty much it for this guy. As far as the boxes, again, like I say, it's going to be straightforward for you guys. It's not going to be really anything that's too crazy. You just want to make sure that you dot all the I's, cross all the T's, make sure everything's sexy. Let's see. Let's talk about the throughs though. So this will extend, like I said, this kind of is integral. This actually mounts to the main boxes, but because there wasn't so much going on here, you'll see once we get to these mains boxes, there's a lot more going on. So I went ahead and chose to make these guys be the spot where you do these. So the idea is you're going to take these 090 plates and you're going to bend them up and then tack in the ends. So it makes it look like it's a 1-inch tray like this. So you see the red, you sort of have this 1-inch tray. And then for stability, you're going to just lords in another one that kind of crosses this way. That way it gives it strength and gives it some rigidity, because we're gonna tighten up some 5/16 up against this. So I wanted to make sure it's nice and strong. Then what you're gonna do is, I got some 193s, and you're gonna take this inner ring of 1/4 inch, and you're gonna lords it to the bottom of this thing right here. So you're gonna create a lip. Let's see, I got it right here. So you're gonna take that 1/4 inch plate and you're gonna lords it to the bottom of this and create a lip, and make sure it's clean and everything, because then you're going to be lordsing right after that. Or you could just kind of do it immediately, whatever you want to do, but you can cleco from the backside, probably lords this. And then you're going to cut, let's go over the cut list there. So you've got your 2/68, again, bring in your 24 footers. And then you're just going to do 4 6-inch chunks of 4 by 8. I already talked to you about that. You said you had it laying around. And then whatever you need to bring in, even if it is an 1/8, it's just adding weight, but the inside of this diameter doesn't really matter as long as it's 2 on the outside, and you're going to do 4/18. So that's what this is for. So what you're going to do is get ready, take this disc, lords it to the outside here. Then you're going to take your 6-inch your 4-inch tube, just do a big Lord's party on that, squish that up in there, clean it up, but make sure there's plenty of fillet. And then just like our fence posts, you're going to take this one and you're just going to cap it and squish it on there. And then you can clean it up just like our fence posts. Then you're going to take the 2x and you're going to slide it through this. And then once it's about 1 inch or so, it's fine, whatever. But as long as you got about 10 inches sticking out here from here to here, on the inside here, go ahead and put some tacks. Again, doesn't need to be fully welded because now you've got lords here. So don't, it's kind of a thing, but it's going to be just decorative. Really, this is just a conduit. This is just like running electrical conduit. It's all it's got to do is sit there and look pretty, because this part's going to do all the work right here. But you want to make sure that this is well lords. I got gap here, and make sure this is all lords up really well. And then you can even maybe lords it in there, kind of inject it and then clean it up, and then throw some tacks. And then that way this conduit is ready to go. Now, when install goes to put these up, they'll put these boxes on, bam, like that. And then they'll be able to take this lid off, and then this will be also loose. So then they can take this thing, tuck it inside, run the pipes up, they'll be able to slide the plate on, put it up there, bolt it up, and then they can slide the plate down and screw it down. So this allows an opening to run power, you'll be able to run your hand in there and you'll be able to collect all your power from here, reach your hand in, and then right here, obviously you'll have this opening so you can feed your power through to here. And I made sure that I have snaky holes through everything. So you'll just be running the power through the tops here. You'll be running your secondary LED cable all the way along as you collect the word casino all the way along. I have everything towards the top, easy access. So you can just, collect this all, create a leash, and then get it to one of the sides. Now, we'll be going over the mains boxes and showing you which one's going to have the main power. So there is a direction you kind of should collect everything. So it'll be up to you. These two casino boxes can mirror. They are identical both ways. So obviously it says casino one way, but when we flip it, it goes the other. But you should choose which one you collect. The secondary should go to this side on one, and then flip it around, and it should go the opposite direction where they both collect on opposite sides, because we are going to be bringing the power to the one side. So make sure, as a matter of fact, I'll just show you that's here. So this is the south facing sign, and this is what we're used to seeing. So the idea is that everything's going to be over here on the south side. We're going to be going over this with the big signs, with the big boxes. But you're going to need to get everything. So like I said, this box could flip around and go on the other side. But if you collect everything on this side, that's going to be wasted, voltage drop to get all the way back. So when you go to wire these, you have to choose a south side one that will collect to the right side here. And then the north side, you'll have to collect to the opposite direction and make sure that it's on this side, but we will jump it across, and I'm going to go over that. We will jump it across the mountains and bring it back in. But everything's going to have to collect to this side. You are very used to seeing this view. This is called the south side. Or the south. So again, everything's going to get done in this area, but we're going to go over that pretty much right now. But that's it for the casino. Is everything's, that's how you build it and everything. But when you go to collect, you will kind of choose, say this is going to be the south side, and we're going to collect it over here. And then the north side will be the opposite side, but you'll have to go the other direction and make sure it's all on one side. So there's your cut list. There's your letters. Everything's going to collect there. Again, I would encourage to safety off when it's time, go ahead and do some corners, do some countersunk here and there. Also, a heads up, in order to make sure that it's simpler, more simple to avoid the verticals when I go to do the letters, because when I put a mounting hole on one of these, it becomes that one. It's not standardized. So in order to keep things standardized, I tried to avoid getting the mounting holes on the frames. The downside of that, though, is it's an added bonus of having a mounting screw sandwich everything. It's a good safety. So what I encourage you to do, if you can, is at the final assembly, when you've got all the LEDs and you're mounting these letters up, because I'm pretty sure they're all going to be sent out with the letters on there. There's no reason not to. Take the time to eyeball a vertical where you can, and go ahead and self-tap through and get a nice screw through a face, through a letter, and into framing where you can. Obviously, S doesn't help you out, but if you can do it on the N here, maybe catch it on the O. No. So anyway, this one's not so bad, but I know on the bigger one, there's going to be a lot more chances to make sure that we can add in some safety before you cover up with put the trim cap faces on, go ahead and shoot a screw where you can, because otherwise this is just adding more weight to the faces that are relying on, the bonding. So again, let's make sure that we really make sure we lords really well. Again, that's why I gave you these extra wide kind of brace things here. Stabilize all your seams. Let's throw in some safety rivets. Let's make sure these things are super safe for, because again, we're getting global weirding too. We're getting all kinds of weather. So let's just make sure that everything's dialed in. So, all right. So that's it for this. Again, so you go to school on this though. There's you'll see where that's going to be your 16th groove. So you can see where it's going to slide into there, and that's going to justify up top. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be the exact same thing on the big ones. So anyway, so I think that's it. Thanks for putting up with me jumping around. So off to the big ones. Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Check the technique. Check the technique.